Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Topping our news today at noon, a vote on the expansion of phosphate mining is taking place now in Manatee County. County commissioners meeting to consider a zoning change that would allow the Mosaic Phosphate Company to expand mining operations at its Wingate East property. The rezoning application is for 3,600 acres in East Manatee County. 24 homes are within 1,000 feet of that proposed mining site, and some worry the mines will affect water levels in the Myakka River watershed, which is a groundwater source on the Wingate East property.
It's going to feel like Mosaic is mining in my backyard. I mean, besides my property values dropping, the most important thing is the well-being of my daughter, my wife, myself. They get that. They got to relocate us. You know, I'm not going to live under all this stress and what if they make a mistake.
Last September, a sinkhole at the Mosaic mining site in Polk County caused 215 million gallons of radioactive water to spill into the Florida aquifer. In Manatee County, Mosaic will give the county $16 million and restore wetlands near former mines in the county if commissioners approve the rezoning request. We'll have much more on what the commission decides coming up in our evening newscast beginning at 5 o'clock. Red tide is returning to Suncoast beaches once again. According to scientists at Mote Marine Lab, red tide blooms continue to pop up in area waters, causing fish kills and respiratory irritation for people. Beaches from Venice to Manatee County are reporting impacts. The recent stormy weather is being blamed for this latest bloom, stirring it up in the Gulf waters. And according to area health departments in Mote Marine, the impacts of red tide go beyond the marine life.
Volunteers reporting what they see and hear along our beaches have noticed dead fish, as well as respiratory irritation, which could be coughing or sneezing.
Mote Marine Lab officials say if you have any respiratory illnesses, you should avoid the beaches with red tide alerts. Governor Rick Scott is continuing his tour around the state today to discuss his proposed tax cuts for the upcoming state budget. He wants lawmakers to cut $618 million in taxes in the coming year. That includes a proposal to cut the sales taxes charged on commercial rents by 25%, a 10-day back-to-school sales tax holiday, as well as 3-day sales tax holiday for military veterans. He also wants to eliminate sales taxes charged on college textbooks. The state legislature will vote on the budget this coming spring. In other state news, Governor Scott is threatening to cut funding for port operators that do business with Cuba. The governor tweeting, disappointed some Florida ports would enter into any agreement with Cuban dictatorship. We cannot condone Raul Castro's oppressive behavior. This comes as the first legal cargo in more than 50 years arrived at Port Everglades from the island nation. Governor Scott has been a proponent of the state's ports increasing international trade, but he has also been critical of former President Obama's efforts to restore relations with Cuba. New numbers released today by state wildlife officials show a record number of manatees killed by boat strikes. Florida Fish and Wildlife officials say 520 manatees died in Florida last year, and 104 of those deaths were caused by boat strikes. That surpasses the previous record of 97 set back in 2009. Surveys last February counted 6,250 manatees statewide, and due to the rising manatee population, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed designating the species as threatened rather than endangered. Well, this week, the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus is performing in Florida for the last time. The greatest show on earth is in Tampa for the next few days. And this morning, ABC 7 got a behind-the-scenes look at rehearsal for the Circus Extreme show at Amalie Arena. That's where the performers were warming up for their show tonight. The show includes acrobats, a human cannonball, exotic big cat show, trapeze artists, and of course the clowns. Circus officials say crowds have been pretty much at capacity since Feld Entertainment announced earlier this month that the circus is closing after nearly 150 years in business. You can still catch the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus at Amalie Arena with shows tonight through Sunday evening. All right, let's get checking our weather now. Meteorologist John Scalzi is with us today, and kind of breezy, kind of humid, I noticed this morning.
Sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really came back fast.
Yeah.
The thing is that we have a very small window of time to really get that moisture in here at all levels of the atmosphere. And as the frontal boundary, which is causing all the cloud cover you see out there, comes through, it's not going to have a lot to work with. So we're not going to get a lot of showers around this time. Not going to get a lot of no severe weather. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Colder weather, though, that's on our doorstep, that's for sure. The frontal boundary is still probably 6 to 8 hours away. But we're getting some of the cloud cover, and certainly that strong southerly wind flow really bringing back the moisture. You can see those clouds kind of rolling in, coming from basically two different directions. We have one southerly flow of air, and then we also have a higher level kind of wind coming in from the northwest. Now, we've had some showers at times. We have some ongoing, actually, across our region. The frontal boundary itself is that solid line that you see back in the Big Bend region there, slowly sinking south at about 15 to 18 miles per hour. But we have a good southerly flow of air, and we're catching some showers coming at us off the Gulf waters. That'll be the case today. We'll put the rain chance at about 10% till we get closer to the time the front itself will actually be around here. And then we'll kind of up that chance to about 20% or so. The daytime high today will be warm. It'll feel a little on the humid side. A lot of people will think it's uncomfortable, and that changes tomorrow. We'll talk about how it changes in a minute, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. More changes are on the horizon for some Bradenton roads. City officials unanimously approving agreements with Florida Department of Transportation to pave the way for two projects that would improve traffic flow and pedestrian safety. The first is for a roundabout at the intersection of 15th Street East and 9th Avenue East. Construction is expected to begin early next year on that. The second project will create new center medians and pedestrian islands, as well as other improvements on 8th Avenue West from 9th Street to US 41. The group leading the fight to dredge Big Pass in an effort to renourish Lido Key hosting a community meeting tonight. Save Our Siesta Sand hosting the event from 5:30 to 7:30 tonight at the St. Boniface Church on Midnight Pass Road on Siesta Key. Those against the proposed project are worried taking sand from Big Pass would harm the beaches on Siesta Key and are promising legal action to try to stop it. 4th and 5th grade students at Bashaw Elementary are preparing to take on an impressive robotics competition. The first LEGO League's Regional Championships is a way for students to show off what they've learned while competing against other nearby schools. The goal, to teach students valuable skills while giving them a better understanding and passion for engineering. And thanks to a grant and help from Manatee Technical College, one group of elementary school students are headed now to the regionals.
I wanted to participate because when I get older, I want to be an engineer, and I thought this would be a good start.
In essence, these students are learning to work together so that someday they can be good employees and work as a team, because in the real world, you have to be able to do that.
8 out of 34 teams from the regionals will then move on to the state competition, and then from there, they have a chance to advance all the way to the nationals. We wish them the best of luck. Looks like fun. All right, time now to head over to the kitchen where Chef Josh Wood joins us from the Muse at the Ringling. And Josh, great to see you again. What are you fixing for us today?
Thank you for having me once again. Today we're featuring a dessert item that's on our new farm dinner menu that we're hosting in a couple weeks, and we're doing strawberries with agave mascarpone.
Oh, that sounds delicious. We'll be back with Josh in just a little bit. Stay with us, everyone.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
Ideologue. I am an originalist.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
In town? On the town, The Mark offers landmark living in the center of everything you love about Sarasota. priced from the 700s, spacious residences and elevated club-level amenities create a private oasis in the sky. Promenade shopping and dining put the best of downtown downstairs. Sales gallery open daily at the corner of Pineapple and State Street just south of Maine. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by Coulter.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Sticky out there, no doubt about it. 76 degrees the air temperature, so very warm afternoon, well above average, and the dew point continues to rise. As I mentioned earlier, earlier this morning, I think the dew points are going to be pretty close to the 70 mark by the time we finish off the day. All we need to do is get a little twist in the winds to the west, and we'll be there. Right now we're a south wind coming in briskly at 18. That's helping to pile up the water along the south-facing beaches and creating kind of a rip current problem out there throughout the day today. Even when those winds switch southwest, actually it might even make it a little worse. Rip currents will be an issue throughout the day today and probably into tomorrow as well. So watch for that. Plus, beach hazard statement, of course, issued due to the red tide issues. 77 degrees, Wauchula 78, Arcadia, Myakka, Parrish comes in at 75, so is Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch at 77, so is Northport. Punta Gorda has 78 degrees, 73 degrees in Inglewood, 74 in Venice, and Longboat Key comes in at 70 degrees. So the red tide is obviously an issue. We've been talking about that for weeks now. I will say that in the last couple of days, it does seem that some of these reports have indicated a decrease in the amount of problems in the air. They've had several reports in the last couple of days of intense irritants in the air, according to Mote Marine spotters who go out here and actually sample the air and observe the conditions. Now we're at slight most everywhere. We do have one moderate report at Siesta Key. And the winds are brisk today, which are kind of aggravating the situation, I would think, but they're also going to be more directly in line with a straight fetch off the water, a little bit of a westerly wind that'll send some of those irritants a little further inland. So if you find that in the air and you hadn't experienced it before, it's probably because our winds are a little bit more westerly this afternoon. So we'll continue to monitor it, and hopefully those conditions will lighten up. Got a few spotty showers around. Nothing really heavy, and we don't expect anything heavy today. We just don't have enough moisture in the entire atmosphere. We don't have any upper level support for these, just a good strong onshore flow of air creating these showers. The heaviest of the stuff, well, none of it's really heavy actually, but we have some stuff moving into areas around Lakewood Ranch right now on the other side. And we also have a heavier line located just to the north. That's really the main line, the line that promises us perhaps a little heavier rain. And when I say heavier rain, I do not mean that we're going to get any downpours. We're talking here measurements in 1/10 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, a couple of tenths of an inch, but that's really about it. This frontal boundary will come through basically as a dry front, with the exception of that brief little period of steadier rain probably around 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And then it'll pass on through, winds will shift, drier air will filter in, and we'll see this high pressure ridge start to build in by as early as tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a sunnier day. Be a cooler day too, no doubt about it. With today's high at around 76, tomorrow's high will be about 10 degrees cooler, and we'll get even cooler than that as we get into Saturday. More cloud cover around, warm afternoon, isolated showers. Forecast for today calls for these winds to be breezy but subsiding as we get into the evening and overnight hours, and that front moves on through and kind of deteriorates right over us. 2 to 3 foot seas, moderate chop on bay and inland waters. And the forecast calls for 66 tomorrow as a daytime high. 40s Friday night into Saturday day, and daytime highs on Saturday probably in the low to mid 60s, Scott.
Back to winter we go. All right, John, thank you. Finland is setting some high goals for its citizens. The country is planning to become tobacco-free by the year 2040. And by tobacco-free, Finland wants less than 2% of its adults to use tobacco in any form by that deadline. The country has seen a decline in the smoking rate in recent decades following measures to ban advertisements and the creation of smoke-free public places. The government's plan to reduce the use of tobacco includes raising the price, implementing more smoke-free places, and reducing the appeal of tobacco to minors. Hundreds of students in Washington state are out of school today because of a mumps outbreak. The worst mumps outbreak in decades is only getting worse there. Unvaccinated kids at 20 schools in Spokane are now at home instead of in the classroom as doctors diagnose more cases. The newest number shows 76 cases of mumps. About half of those people were unvaccinated, and most are under the age of 20.
I came down today. I needed to get another MMR because I don't have my original shot record from when I was a child. I work in the East Valley School District where there's been a mumps outbreak.
Those who have been vaccinated are 9 times less likely to get the mumps. Governor Rick Scott is calling for eliminating key regulations in building some health care facilities. The governor wants to eliminate what is known as the Certificate of Need process for building hospitals, nursing homes, and hospice facilities. He also wants to get rid of the limit on the number of trauma centers scattered across the state. Both proposals deal with issues that have sparked years of legal battles in the healthcare industry.
It helped improve quality, which is the most important thing to me, but also control price and increase access. On top of that, I want to get rid of the cap on trauma centers. I want to let the private sector figure out what we should do there.
Legislation filed in the State House this week largely mirrors Scott's position on the Certificate of Need process. House Republican leaders have previously sought to repeal the Certificate of Need process, but have not been able to get the state Senate to go along. It's a controversial diagnosis in children, but new cases of ADHD are now on the decline. ABC's Dr. Timothy Johnson has the details.
Unruly, restless behavior with boundless energy. While often a natural byproduct of childhood, in extreme cases it can indicate attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. In the U.S., it's a condition that affects about 1 in 10 kids. These children are often easily distracted and harder to rein in, and can leave parents frustrated and frazzled. Now, in a new report, researchers at the CDC pointed data showing that visits to the doctor for ADHD are on the decline, from 9 million visits in 2009 to about 6 million in 2013. Boys are twice as likely as girls to visit the doctor for an ADHD-related concern. The researchers also found that doctors prescribe medication for the condition in about 4 out of 5 of these visits, which worries some experts who fear the condition may be overdiagnosed. But for parents who believe that their child may be exhibiting signs of ADHD, the best move is a meeting with your child's doctor. Working together with a pediatrician and others ensures that children who can benefit from treatment actually get it. With this Medical Minute, I'm Dr. Timothy Johnson.
Coming up next on your Suncoast News, incredible footage captures the intense moments of a massive fire engulfing an apartment construction site in Washington state.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. AndServices.com, AndServices.com.
Top Dog 2017, benefiting Dante's Den, is the Carnival of Dogs. Join us at the Francis for an evening of great food and fun as dogs compete for the title of Top Dog. Grab your pooch and head out to Top Dog, Saturday, February 4th at 6 p.m.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Ram trucks are built tough and have plenty of power to handle any job with all the comfort you'd expect in a luxury vehicle. And right now, all 2016 quad cabs are over 20% off, with new Ram trucks starting at just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Aerial footage captures the scene of a massive fire as it breaks out at an apartment construction site in Washington State. Take a look. Crews say the flames erupted late last night, burning for hours. At least 2 nearby apartment complexes had to be evacuated. At one point, part of the structure collapsed under that intense heat. 2 firefighters are being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. There's no word yet on what caused the fire to start. Part of the fun of watching the Super Bowl is, of course, the commercials. And for the first time ever, a company will run a live commercial during the big game. Snickers is running an ad that stars Adam Driver from Girls and Star Wars. It also features what the company is calling other less famous actors. Snickers isn't saying what the commercial will be about, but drops hints about a possible showdown between stunt horses and a dead cowboy, huh? And if that's not enough, Snickers will also have a 36-hour live stream that starts at noon the Thursday before the Super Bowl and ends that Friday at midnight. An item found undisturbed in the rubble of Mississippi's deadly tornadoes over the weekend is giving some survivors hope. Staffers at William Carey University say they spotted this open Bible on the pulpit of the campus church. The open page from Psalm 46, the staffers say reads, quote, "God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble." Rick Wildman, an art instructor at the school, took these photos, and he says most of the university's buildings, unfortunately, were destroyed by the tornado. Let's get back to the kitchen now. John is there with our guest chef today, Josh Wood from Muse at the Ringling, cooking up some delicious dessert for us today.
Yeah, this looks really good too. I love fresh strawberries and mascarpone cheese, and I'm sure you're doing it in a different kind of way. Plus, you've got a wine dinner coming up.
That's right. So on Monday, February 6th, Muse is hosting a farm dinner featuring 4 local farms, 5 courses. We're shutting down the restaurant, be the only guests in the building, and it's going to be in our private dining room. That's Monday at 6 p.m., February 6th.
Nice. How many people will that accommodate?
We're accommodating 24 people. And tickets are on sale. There's a lot of information on our Facebook page. I'll lead you right to what you need to do.
Okay.
But for this, you need to get to work.
I'm on it.
So mascarpone, step 1. You need to spatula that into the bowl, sir.
All righty.
Look at that. You're
a
natural.
mascarpone cheese, it's almost like a cream cheese, right?
It is, yeah. It's Italian cream cheese. And this is our organic agave nectar. And you're going to fold that in so that we have some sweetness to it. So you're not just eating cream cheese. Look at that. I could hire you tomorrow, John.
I'm ready. I make a good sous chef.
So now we're going to take our organic strawberries. And I like to just cut them in half because once you start getting anything smaller than a half, you don't really have much to eat. It's just going to be nibbles.
I guess we shouldn't have really just glazed over that, but agave nectar is, for folks that don't know, a sweetener, but it's different than most sweeteners, right?
That's correct. It comes from the agave plant, the same plant that's used to make tequila, and it's an alternative to sugar or honey. It's less viscous than honey, and it has more of a natural sweetness than just your refined sugar. Okay, look at that.
How about that, huh?
Beautiful. So,
I know.
I'm going to leave this here with you, and we're going to come over here. So, what we want to make sure that we do here, if you do this at home, John, if you're going to have a farm dinner soon, is you want to have contrast of colors on your plate. Okay, so you don't want to do this on a white plate or your guests are going to miss the whole point of what you're doing. So Now, these strawberries are coming from Sweetgrass Farms, and I gotta say, I've had the store-bought strawberries, I've had the ones our produce company sends us, and these are try one. Let me know what you think.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Ripe, juicy.
Those are great.
More firm.
From which farm?
Sweetgrass.
Sweetgrass Farm.
That's right. And one of the cool things
Can
about...
anybody go in there and buy strawberries?
You know, I heard that they're gone. As soon as like they put them out there to go, they're just picked over
I can
like
see
locusts.
Why. Those are delicious.
So what we're gonna do is the farmers are actually gonna come in and host like almost like booths. So if you have questions, information, pamphlets, what they do, and you can ask all the questions you want and have a great meal.
Neat.
Yeah, so that's the whole story behind this. We'll be pairing great wines with each meal. Our company sommelier will take care of that. Should be a great time.
Well, that sounds great. And that's what date again?
Monday, February 6th at 6 p.m.
And you still have tickets available?
That's right, we do.
Cool. Well, that looks absolutely delicious. Remind everybody that the recipe for it is on our website, mysuncoast.com. You can go on there, click on the dining link page, or you can just go on into the wine dinner and enjoy it firsthand and in person. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
That is delicious.
I'm going to leave it here for you.
Yes, thank you. We'll be right back.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Cuban travel tips before Bobeth heads south. Plus Victoria Blooms, J-Dub's Beer, and Stoudemire's in the kitchen. Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
In town? On the town, The Mark offers landmark living in the center of everything you love about Sarasota. Priced from the 700s, spacious residences and elevated club-level amenities create a private oasis in the sky. Promenade shopping and dining put the best of downtown downstairs. Sales gallery open daily at the corner of Pineapple and State Street just south of Maine. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by Coulter.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. A full day ahead for President Trump today. His first stop, the GOP retreat in Philadelphia. Then he's set to return to Washington, where he's expected to sign a new executive order which would limit the U.S. refugee program. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in Philadelphia with more.
House Speaker Paul Ryan in Philadelphia first addressing the GOP's agenda.
Our members are excited. We have a big, bold agenda that we're working on.
Then affirming the party stands behind the new administration.
We are on the same page with the White House.
Apparently on most issues when asked about torture.
And torture's illegal. And torture's not legal. And we agree with it not being legal.
But in this exclusive interview, President Trump told ABC News he believes waterboarding works, but says he will follow guidance from his defense secretary and CIA director who have rejected it. President Trump is also asking Congress to investigate his unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
You have people that are registered who are dead, who are illegals, who are in 2 states. You have people registered in 2 states. They're registered in New York and in New Jersey. They vote twice. There are millions of votes, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to do an investigation.
In regards to border security, the president is promising to build that wall and claims Mexico will pay for it. But overnight, Mexico's president once again insisted his country will not pay for a border wall. Today, President Trump had this response, tweeting, "If Mexico is unwilling to pay for the badly needed wall, then it would be better to cancel the upcoming meeting." And today, GOP leaders say while they support the president's efforts, he will need to work out his differences with foreign leaders, adding the cost to build that wall between $12 to $15 billion. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Philadelphia.
One footnote there, the Mexican president did cancel his visit to the White House. An update now on former President George H.W. Bush, who doctors say is getting better and may get to go home this weekend. According to his spokesperson, the 92-year-old who was hospitalized for pneumonia still has a lingering cough, but his lungs are clearing up, and he's now working with physical therapists to build up his strength. The former president and his wife were both hospitalized earlier this month. Barbara Bush was released from the hospital Monday after being treated for bronchitis. In his last full day in office, President Obama reportedly sent $1 million in humanitarian assistance to North Korea. Secretary of State John Kerry directed the money to be awarded to UNICEF to provide humanitarian assistance to assist people affected by flooding in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea that began in September of last year. That's according to a senior State Department official. According to Mark Toner, acting State Department spokesman, they're currently reviewing last-minute spending approved by the previous administration and will make adjustments if needed to ensure that it aligns with the priorities of the Trump administration. Another check on our weather now. Meteorologist John Scalzi joined us with news of some change coming our way, huh?
Yeah, I am always fascinated how living on a peninsula, the weather is so driven by the direction of the winds.
Yeah.
It's really kind of amazing when you think about it. We had an east wind to start off the week, and that gave us one kind of weather. Now we've got more of a southerly wind, and it's certainly giving us a different kind of weather. And tomorrow we'll have more of a northwesterly wind, and that'll be a complete change that I think a lot of us will like.
That's
I know
my favorite wind, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm going to like it. I know that's true. I'm not a real big fan of high humidity, so it'll be kind of nice to have a temperature where I would normally set my air conditioning thermostat and be able to open those windows. We have some pretty weather out there to start off the day at Lakewood Ranch, but the clouds quickly rolled in and didn't have much of a fog problem this morning because the winds have been elevated just a little bit. We've also had a drop or two of rain come in places, light stuff for the most part, drizzle. Nothing really too terribly heavy expected today. The cloud cover will continue on through the afternoon, but despite that, we'll have a pretty decent southerly wind that'll kind of pump that humidity way up there as it is already and keep our temperatures well above average today. The front itself is located up to the north, and that is gradually sinking southward. As it does so, we will see more and more of this easterly wind bringing us a scattered shower or two, nothing really heavy, really. You can see on our water vapor imagery this kind of line of turquoise kind of over the center of the state right now. That's some higher moisture content air. And then further to the north, up around the Big Bend region, another line of turquoise. That's, again, the frontal boundary and the kind of concentration of moisture around it. But look down to the south, all that tan. That's dry air, and it's really not going to allow for much more than an isolated shower or two throughout the day. Daytime highs of 77 will be significantly lower tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Some hopeful news for residents of Flint, Michigan. The city's water no longer exceeds federally accepted levels for lead. But officials there are still urging residents to continue using filtered water for their drinking and cooking needs. Flint must still replace thousands of lead pipes across the city, and that's a process that could take years. The Flint water crisis began back in 2014 when city officials began using tap water from the Flint River to save money. But that water wasn't properly treated, resulting in lead and other chemicals contaminating the water supply. 13 current and former state and local officials now face charges in connection to the crisis. A bill to allow for more gambling in Florida is moving ahead in the state Senate. A Senate panel approving a measure that would legalize fantasy sports and allow the Seminole Tribe of Florida to offer craps and roulette at its casinos. It would also expand slot machines across the state. The bill could be approved by the full Senate when the session formally starts in March. However, it could face problems in the House since House Speaker Richard Corcoran has been a staunch opponent of expanding gambling. The state Senate is preparing to take up legislation to repeal a decades-old law that requires liquor stores to be standalone facilities. The bill would allow hard spirits like whiskey and rum to be sold alongside beer, wine, and groceries in supermarkets. Right now, many grocery stores have a standalone liquor store next to their regular store. Bill proponents say the probation-era law is no longer necessary.
Why are we still in this antiquated era? It's something that doesn't make sense, and we have retailers from across the state who have joined us in saying, hey, let's just have a level playing field.
Big box retailers like Walmart and Target support the measure, and they claim their customers are looking for increased convenience. Similar measures have drawn opposition in the past from independent liquor stores and companies like Publix. They say allowing liquor sales inside grocery stores could create easier access for potential underage drinkers. U.S. stocks continue to edge higher, extending gains beyond yesterday's record-setting close. ABC's Aaron Katersky reports from New York on just what this could mean for the average investor.
At the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow opened higher today after closing for the first time over 20,000. While analysts say 20,000 on its own is just a number, it is an important sign of what's going on in business.
It's a psychological number that just so happens to correlate with pretty good strength in the economy.
Since Election Day, the Dow, which tracks 30 major companies, is up about 9%, and the average American retirement savings account has added $6,000, mainly on the promise under President Trump of lower taxes, deregulation, and increased infrastructure spending. All of that good for corporate America and its bottom line.
Well, I think it was the first 2 days of President Trump issuing a lot of executive orders, and that pretty much told Wall Street that he really is going to attempt to fulfill the promises that he made during the campaign.
The Dow has been on a steady climb since it bottomed out in 2009. Analysts say whether that bull market continues may also depend on what President Trump does, especially on trade.
If he were to actually start imposing tariffs of 35% or even less than that, I think markets would react very negatively.
While traders are celebrating and wearing Dow 20,000 hats, financial analysts caution the average investors to keep a careful eye on their portfolios and not get overly excited by the so-called Trump rally. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Uber has surpassed Starbucks as the most common expense among business travelers. That's according to a new study from travel and expense software provider Certify. The company analyzed 40 million expenses from 1 million business travelers. Uber accounting for 6% of all business travel transactions in 2016. The largest amount of money, however, is still spent on airfare, followed by hotel stays. NASA astronauts flying on Boeing's new Starliner spaceship are getting a galactic makeover. The sleek Boeing Blue spacesuits were unveiled yesterday as an upgrade to the bulky orange gear we're used to seeing. The suits are equipped with features like touchscreen sensitive gloves, more flexible material, and soft helmets. It also serves as an emergency life support system. The first flight test is scheduled in these new spaceships to launch in 2018. They look pretty good. All right, don't go away. Coming up next in your Suncoast News, a local festival goes back all the way to 1991. We'll hit the Sarasota scene this weekend to bring you the best of the blues. It's our event of the week.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Florida Studio Theater presents the regional premiere of Clever Little Lies, now playing in the Keating Theater. Secrets are exposed and clever little lies are crafted in this fast-paced comedy by Joe DiPietro. Shattering and hilarious, Clever Little Lies is a story of long-term love and marriage, for better and for worse. Don't miss what critics are calling lively with big reveals and surefire comedy. Clever Little Lies is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Wouldn't it be great if you had a sofa covered in fabric that's kid-proof? Now you can! Introducing Kid-Proof by Roe, now at Bacon's Furniture. For a limited time only, save 40% off Kids-Proof sofas at Bacon. Just look for the little green hand and select from hundreds of different fabrics that resist almost anything life throws at it. Some fabrics repel liquid, and all the amazing styles and comfortable fabrics are easy to clean. Kid-Proof sofas, now 40% off at Bacon's Furniture in Sarasota.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
So if you take a look at our surface map of temperatures right now, you certainly get the idea that there is something going on, and that is the frontal boundary. The frontal boundary is sinking southward, and right now I'd put it just about over the Big Bend region, actually. You've got 70s south of that, and then as you head into Tallahassee, 60s, then you rapidly fall off into the 50s thereafter. Plus, dew point values fall very rapidly from Tallahassee northward. And also the wind shift has occurred at Tallahassee. Tallahassee is coming in at the northwest, and down here in most of the peninsula, it's coming in out of the southwest. So the frontal boundary is on its way. It's going to take its good old time, though. Take about 8 hours to get here, but when it does, we'll start to kind of shave through some of the humidity that's around now. Dew point value coming in at 67. We're inching our way close to that 70 mark. I think we'll have time to actually get there as soon as that wind shifts a little bit more to the west and we get a southwest wind, which will happen as that front gets about another 4 hours under its belt, sinking southward. And then the wind speeds coming in at about 10 to 15 throughout the remainder of the day will really pump in the humidity. But we'll have just such a short period of time for that to moisten an entire column of atmosphere. Plus, we don't have a lot of upper level support. In fact, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, there is resistance to producing rain, kind of like the lid on a pot. It's not allowing the atmosphere to bubble and percolate too much, so you will get some light stuff around, but that's about it. 74 the air temperature right now, down a degree over the last hour. We've got a few scattered showers coming on through. None of this really very heavy, but it's around. At most, we'll see a sprinkle or a passing shower. Again, the total rainfall amounts are not going to add that much to the rainfall bucket. These are not going to be 1-inch rains like we saw over the weekend. These are going to be more in the area of tenths of an inch or even hundredths of an inch of rainfall. Back to the north, we'll probably get a little steadier rain out of that one, out of the front itself as it sinks south, if it holds together. And I don't think it's going to hold together all that well. The further it sinks south and the closer it gets to us, the more spread out these showers will become. But, you know, we could pick up a couple of hundredths more inches of rainfall with that front as it moves through here, probably around 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. So once that front moves through, our clouds are going to kind of thin out just a little bit as high pressure builds in back behind the front. As that high builds in and our winds turn out of the northwest, that cooler, drier air filters in. And tomorrow, I think, is going to be a pretty nice day, actually. We'll get rid of the cloud cover early. The winds will be breezy, but not windy, out of the northwest. The dew points will fall, and the daytime high temperature will probably come in at around 67, maybe 68 degrees, something like that. So it's going to feel pretty nice, I think. Now, Saturday, it's going to get cooler, and certainly tomorrow night, Friday night into Saturday morning is going to be cool, chilly to some folks. It'll be in the 40s. But on Saturday, I think our daytime high temperatures will probably even be cooler, coming in the low 60s. So most of the day spent in the 50s. So it's going to be a chilly day for a lot of people on Saturday. More cloud cover today, warm afternoon, isolated showers around. Should have made that a small S, not a capital S. There's that thin ribbon of showers on our computer model here sinking southward. Watch what happens. They kind of just fall apart as they get into this capped atmosphere. And we're left with just a scattered shower or two. But rapid clearing thereafter, I think that's logical. And then we start to see maybe some high clouds around, but all in all, a lot more sunshine tomorrow. Forecast calls for a southwest wind, light to moderate chop on your bay and inland waters, 2 to 3 foot seas. And for the weekend, cooler temperatures right straight into Sunday, and then we'll start a warming trend beginning Monday. Chance of showers, too, on Sunday. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. We're in high season now on the Suncoast, and our entertainment venues are cranking out shows and festivals, including the Sarasota Blues Festival. ABC 7's Linda Carson has more in the event of the week.
The festival is bringing some big names in the blues to town.
These are groups that you don't really see too often in this area. So we try to bring, people in that you can't go to the local club, on Friday night and see. So, these are all traveling, international blues artists.
And each of the 9 acts has its own special sound.
We've got different styles of blues. We've got Anika Chambers, who's actually up for the Coco Taylor of Female Blues Artist of the Year at the Blues Music Awards. We got Selwyn Birchwood, who has won awards in the past.
It's once again at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds, but this year it's moved to the back of the fairgrounds, so come prepared.
It's open seating. Bring your lounge, your regular beach chairs, outdoor chairs, your blankets, what have you. No coolers allowed. We want you to support our vendors.
Reserved seating is also available. The music begins Friday night at 6 p.m.
Friday night, this headlining is Chris Duarte. The Balkan Brothers are going to be opening. Cat Reynolds will be there as well. Chris Duarte is a seasoned veteran in the blues world.
And the blues continue again at noon on Saturday.
And on Saturday, we're opening with Dwayne Drops. He's going to be a little different twang he's doing some Zydeco blues. So it's going to open up with a little different flair this year.
The music will go on Saturday night until about 9 p.m.
We'll end with a big jam with several of the artists coming together at the end and just having a nice big jam session.
And the producers say the festival is also a big economic boost to the community.
We have people coming from all over the United States for this. We've had calls from California to Maine.
But most of all, it's a treat for blues lovers.
It's a tremendous chance to see some great national blues touring acts in their backyard.
The 3rd annual Sarasota Blues Festival. The gates open Friday night at 5 p.m. and again on Saturday at 11 a.m. for a great weekend of the blues. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you so much, Linda. When we come back, Shia LaBeouf is again under fire following his arrest in New York City this morning. What he's accused of doing when we come back with entertainment news.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
along. I am an originalist.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Being a caregiver at Granny Nanny's, there's nothing else like it.
When you build that relationship and form that bond, it's rewarding.
It feels wonderful. You feel like you're part of the family.
And every patient I meet becomes part of my family.
I love my job. It's who I am and it's what I do. It's about giving them the quality of life they deserve.
It's bringing loving care to home care.
I am Granny Nanny's.
I am Granny Nanny's.
I am Granny Nanny's.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Friends, family, and fans continue to pay tribute to Mary Tyler Moore. The actress died yesterday, surrounded by loved ones. Melissa Rainey takes a look back at her lasting legacy.
For decades, Mary Tyler Moore turned the world on with her smile. In the 1950s, she was a dancing elf in TV commercials. She landed her big break playing opposite Dick Van Dyke in The Dick Van Dyke Show. Her role as Laura Petrie won her first 2 Emmys and earned her the moniker of America's Sweetheart as her career skyrocketed.
Mary Tyler Moore, the Academy Award nominee and 7-time Emmy Award winner, and Dick Van Dyke, the winner of 5 Emmys and a Tony. They starred in one of the most celebrated TV shows in television history.
But it was her turn as a single 30-something career woman at a Minneapolis TV news station in The Mary Tyler Moore Show that really set her apart. The series was hailed by feminists and fans alike as the first modern woman sitcom.
Station manager ought to trust my judgment. I mean, I am the associate producer on the show.
Off-screen, Moore had her share of struggles. The actress battled with alcoholism, and her only child, a son, accidentally shot and killed himself while handling a shotgun. A year later, she divorced her second husband. She eventually found lasting love with her third husband, whom she was married to for 33 years at the time of her death. She also became an advocate for juvenile diabetes research after she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in her 30s.
She certainly had the requisite line of a comic star suffering, and through all of that, at the worst times, she was able to come out, slap on the makeup, and make people laugh.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
And tomorrow night, ABC's 2020 remembers Mary Tyler Moore's life with an hour-long special that explores her childhood in Brooklyn, groundbreaking career, and her personal struggles. 2020 airs Friday night, beginning at 10 o'clock right here on ABC 7. In other entertainment news, Butch Trucks, one of the founding members of the Allman Brothers Band, has died. His booking agent says he died at his home in West Palm Beach on Tuesday. The cause of death still unknown, but police say they do not suspect any foul play. The band issued a statement on its website saying, quote, "Butch will play on in our hearts forever." 3 of the 5 other original band members are still alive. Trucks was 69 years old. Actor Shia LaBeouf was released from jail this morning after being arrested for allegedly getting into an altercation with another man outside of a New York City museum. Police say LaBeouf pulled the scarf of an unidentified man early this morning outside the museum and allegedly scratched the man's face in the process. Police say he also pushed the man, who refused medical attention. LaBeouf is facing now a misdemeanor assault charge. Actress Scarlett Johansson is calling it quits with her husband, Romain Duriak. The two are reportedly divorcing after 2 years of marriage. Johansson and Duriak were first seen together in 2012, but didn't publicly confirm their romance until getting engaged in 2013. The couple wed at a ranch in Montana a year later, shortly after welcoming their daughter, Rose. The actress was spotted without her wedding ring at the Women's March in Washington, D.C. last weekend. Johansson was previously married to actor Ryan Reynolds from 2008 to 2011. Well, it calls itself the #1 best-selling party game, and now it wants to hire a CEO. Cards Against Humanity could be described as a filthy version of Apple to Apples, and the people behind it want someone to lead it. In a Craigslist ad, the game wants, quote, a minimum 8 years experience as President of the United States. Well, there has not been a response yet from former President Obama, but the chance to set his own salary, get health, dental, and vision insurance while available, the ad says, might be appealing. And we want to let you know that President Trump will be speaking at the GOP retreat soon in Philadelphia. We will stream that live on our website, mysuncoast.com, so you can see that there in just a short time from now.
Am I the only person in the room that doesn't know what Apples to Apples is?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad then.
Have a good day.
You don't want to miss the annual Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 4th and 5th at the Venice Community Center. Just a week before Valentine's Day, it is the largest orchid show on Florida's West Coast with thousands of blooming orchids on display and for sale. You'll also find orchid growing supplies, artwork, jewelry, accessories, and free classes. Make plans now to attend the Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 4th and 5th at the Venice Community Center. Doors open at 10 a.m. both days. Visit vaos.org online for more details.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Cuban travel tips before Bo Beth heads south. Plus Victoria Blooms, J-Dub's Beer, and Stoudemire's in the kitchen. Today at 4 on Suncoast View.